just make sure that my recorder's working here. Should be. Okay, yeah, looks like it is. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is the kind of the area that you grid in here, and the pole sitter will be like somewhere like around here or so is where it is, like the end of the gridding area. So anyway, turn one up here, you're gonna be in first gear, obviously, because the first gear is really long in this car at first for the start, but you're gonna be in second gear on any flying lap. I'm trying to just get my little relative down. There we go. So in like project cars and some other sims, there's cones in this area. You can just kind of, this is the pit lane, but you can kind of drive into here. They don't really give you a penalty for it. So I usually take a little bit of extra room like across these lines, because you don't really get too much of a penalty for it. And like I said, first gear, first lap, second, any other lap. Big curbs in this section, so just get close to them and then track it out, going down this side of the track, the right side. Come off to the left here, and you can lift for this. You can just about do it flat, but there. You can just about do that part flat.
You're going the wrong way. You've been disqualified for reckless driving.
Oh, I got disqualified from my own session? That's too bad. Sorry. Didn't get too far, so that's nice. So yeah, use this pit lane area to your advantage, but you don't need to use all of it. It just opens up this corner a little bit, and then just try to get as close to this apex curve as you can without touching. Track out here, just go down the right side of the track, bring it over to the left, and you can do this flat. Even when you get a good exit out of turn one, you should be able to just about do that flat. You can kind of lift to just get an idea for it. So coming into Hotzenbach here, you're gonna be probably in, I think you're in fifth gear here. So you start it in fourth here, turn it in, and then it's down to third here, and the car's gonna want to understeer off. And you just have to just be ready with the brake to pull it back. And it's really important to just stay in third gear here and try to maintain a bunch of momentum, because this is a big momentum section. Just left foot brake this whole section, third gear, as quickly as you can, and the car will really stick because there's a lot of banking in this whole section. Also, if you guys have a question, just interrupt me. This left-hander or this right-hander here is pretty crucial. So that's one you definitely want to get right. It leads onto a pretty big straight. I've been doing it in second gear, and this is one of the friendly curbs right here. So you can cheat and use this curb a little bit. Just kind of put your right wheels on it, and then just aim to just focus on getting on the throttle early. It's the biggest thing about this section. The car will want to track out to the right side. That's fine. You can bring it back over to the left over that little crest, but you don't have to. This is fluke plots here. This is where the cars get airborne, and this is actually flat, so you don't lift for this. You just keep it flat, and then
this corner too.
What's that?
This whole complex. You're saying stay flat.
Yes, stay flat.
Okay,
stay flat.
Yeah, because I kept braking for this.
Use all of the track as much as you can, and get as close to these. It's a double right-hander, so get as close to these curbs as you can, and just keep it flat. That's one thing I noticed. Not every car is flat there, but this one is. So now we have this little mini straight coming up to Schwedenkreuz. Just kind of hug the left side of it at first, and then come outside. And then I'm also taking this is Schwedenkreuz, and I'm also taking this flat. So you stay flat in 5th gear here.
Oh, that's funny. Those Yokohama signs have the corner names on them.
Oh, do they? I guess I never really noticed. That's nice. I'll have to look out for those.
Sorry, some with the VR, I looked over at the sign and I could read it.
Some of them I don't remember. Yeah, totally. So this is flat out over the crest, over Schwedenkreuz here, and generally, and you're coming up to Arenberg here, another really, really important corner leading onto a big straight. I use this little line. You see this line and this like break in the pavement, kind of?
Yep.
I kind of use that as like a relative brake marker for just about any car. So some are a little bit ahead of it and some are a little bit behind it. This one is a little bit ahead of it, I noticed. So you can get away with going like a two car-ish car lengths past that break. But that's it.
Yep.
You definitely see.
Don't back up.
Slow car on the left.
You definitely see.
Slow car on the left.
You definitely see how the coloration gets different. So it's easy to spot when you're coming over that crest. So look for that. And that's kind of my general braking reference. And then this is Arenberg. Very important right-hander. And I'm taking this in 3rd gear. So
oh, wow.
car will want to understeer. Keep it really tight to this. It's very important to focus on being tight to this curb here, this apex curb. So try to push the wheels just as close as you can to it without hitting it, and just focus on the braking and just to make sure the car's not understeering off into this, because this is a very small runoff here, and there's also that kind of bump, the exit curbing rather is pretty harsh, so you really want to make sure you stay off of it. So get a good exit out of there, come over to the right side of the track, and then this is just all flat through here, coming down towards the foxhole is what this is called. Just follow the natural racing line. Follow that apex curve in here, and then this is also flat. So this left-hander over crest. Back
wow.
A little bit here, is also flat. And make sure, and when you come over this, you can use this apex curbing to your advantage. This one is a little bit less. It's got a little bit of a less steep slope on it, so you can carry a little bit more speed if you throw the car over it, but it tends to throw the car to the right of the side of the track just from the way that it comes off of the curbing, and then you got to get down, just get on the brakes at this point, down 2 gears. So that's 5th gear, so you're down to 3rd. You're in 3rd gear all across here. Kind of track it out here towards this left-hander, and it's a double left-hander. This is a double apex. This is called.
This is the one that I hate, I think.
This corner is really fun when you learn the right way through it.
It is. It's decreasing radius, and I always forget that
it's a double apex. So think of it as that. You got the one spot that you got to hit, then you got the other, and then you got to exit. So it's about here, and then you're going to want to be you're in 3rd gear approaching this, and you're going to want to be on the brakes and then down to 2nd. Use this track it out, come back, and then this becomes this left-handed.
Gotcha. I have to remember that this is the corner, though, because I keep taking the right side curbing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not,
Yeah, if you remember the foxhole and you remember that big overcrest left-hander, I don't know what it's called. You kind of remember.
This is one of those corners that always catches me off guard, though. So I just need to remember it's there.
It's called Adenauer Force too, if you wanna.
Well, and this is where, like, if you look at those vintage Nurburgring videos of the little VWs flipping over and all that, it's all happening.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's true. This is a popular one for that because it's easy to come into here way too fast. That's a big thing.
You know,
what's interesting?
I think Gran Turismo's version of this, you can see this corner. Like, I don't think they have the elevation right.
Yeah,
because that's what threw me off. Is in here coming up to it, you can't see this part that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, I agree. The iRacing really does capture a lot of elevation change that the other games don't. This is freaking fantastic.
What's
Yeah,
great,
no,
and you
I think
see all
that's
this
why
graffiti.
I kept missing this corner.
You know, another interesting thing about this corner too. It's one of the few corners on this track that you can completely miss it, and you'll be okay as long and just take the time penalty. So that happened to me in a broadcast race for Pro Mazda. I ended up getting third in the race, but it was a big broadcast race. It was like a charity for this like little girl that had cancer and stuff. So, and I just lost my focus, and I just forgot to brake for the initial double left-hander, and I missed it. But what's interesting is you see this big runoff. You can just go you can just shoot straight across the track there and just scrub off some speed by the time you get back onto the track, so you don't understeer into the opposite wall, and you're fine. But this is basically a chicane, so you can kind of, it's interesting. You can treat it like that.
I will say the couple times I did it, that curbing on the outside edge there, it's not a travesty if you do hit it.
Yeah, but the one on my left here.
No, the one on the right.
Oh no, it's not. You want to avoid it, but it's not the end.
But
it's
if
not
you
the end
happen
of
to
the
run
world.
wide, it's not like it's going to damage the car. It's just not the
Right.
fast line.
Yeah. So you come out of here in second gear because you gotta go down to second for the second left-hander there, and then this part you want to set it up so the car is kind of understeering a bit. It's like starting to point this way. So the car is like understeering, and then because you have the throttle down, because you go full throttle out of that last one, but you lift and then it hugs it. You get a feel for it, but just work on that, trying to like put it close to it, but keep the throttle down, and then but kind of point it in the right direction. It'll start to understeer, do that lift, and then it tucks in really, really nicely to that apex curving and add an hour forced. So that little straight here, natural racing line. This is a lift, so you'll be back into fifth gear by now. A lift in fifth. Kind of braking around here and down to third. Keep it tight, and it's a little bit blind here. You can't really, it's hard, you have to wait for it to open up for it to kind of crest for you to see, but you can kind of see where to turn into. Again, keep it close, don't touch. This is called, Callenhard, I think.
Yeah, that's what the sign said.
Oh, dang it! I missed the sign again. You're looking out for the signs. I don't want to back up that far. I see the sign. But...
Yeah, no, it's back there a little ways.
It's okay.
That's the other cool thing with VR. I can look behind us.
So Callenhard often can get confused with. It's a little, the way that you approach it is very similar to berg work, but it's a little bit of like a slower speed, like tighter version of it. If that makes
going
sense.
this slow, I can actually see some of the camber of the course too, where at race pace it's kind of hard to see that.
Right. So
this next corner is actually on camber.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the things that berg work and Callenhard share that lets you take it a little bit faster than it looks at first. So they're both third gear corners, and they're really, really late apexes downhill to the right. So you apex about here, third gear, and then try to get on the throttle early. And you can use this. I wouldn't use too much of it though, because it can suck you off, here to the left. So stay left here. And we're coming up to a famous corner, miss, hit, miss. So this is the beginning of it. And there's 3 crucial points on this because there's 3 bits of curbing. So you stay to the left here on miss, hit, miss, and you do it just how the corner sounds. You miss the first one, hit the second one, and miss the third one. So if you get a really good exit out of that last bit of out of that last complex, you can be in 5th gear here, but more often than not you'll be in 4th. And then don't downshift, just brake and just use 4th gear here. Come in wide, and then as you approach this the end of this first one, tighten it up, and then stay tight here. This is the one that you're supposed to hit, and then go and then track it out and miss the next one. And just be
interesting.
careful because you want to get on the throttle early, but it's easy to understeer off on this little patch of grass on the right or on the left.
There's your next sign.
Oh yeah, I see it. Oh yeah, fine. I stopped in a good place.
Yeah, I can't read it yet. You gotta get closer. Gotta get closer.
Sturskafar. Huh.
Oh, not that sign. The next one. The
Oh
one with
yeah.
the Yokohama
shit. Yeah,
sign
you're
on
right.
the left.
That means like caution or something probably or something.
But this sign is one of the corner signs.
This is called this turn is called Versiphon, I thought. What is it?
That's
this
what
is
it
nine.
says.
Yeah,
nine.
no, that's what it says.
What?
You missed it. Back it up.
Dude, right behind us. That sign on the left, right there.
Versiphon. Oh, the Yokohama sign. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go back
I see
up
what
a
you're
little bit,
saying.
you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it.
I
Okay,
can see
I see
it.
what you're saying. So Versiphon, so coming out of Miss Hit Miss, you'll be in 5th by the time that you come down that little straight here. Back
this
behind me
complex
where
up
I
here is
didn't mention it,
interesting.
shift down to 4th. Shift down to 4th before you come into this right-hander here. Right? And Versiphon is the slowest corner on the track. So keep that in
I noticed
mind.
it was pretty slow.
Yeah, it's the slowest corner on the track.
This is the fun part of the track.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I personally am a fan of the carousel to the Dottinger Ho, but that's me. So yeah, down to 4th, and then to make this right-hander, you'll want to be in 4th, and then probably down, or maybe even down to 3rd there, and then you want to be down to 2nd. And don't push the braking too hard in this section. Don't make this be like your hero corner where, you brake super, super late. Yeah, you can get away with it, but the consequences of missing your braking by a little bit means you're into that wall on the straight ahead of me. It's really easy to just come into here way too hot. And
So you're saying to be on the left side entering this?
no, you want to be on the right.
Okay.
You're on the left, and you're on the left initially, and then there's a right-hander, and then you kind of stay right, and then you have to set up for where I'm looking at now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you see behind me there, but yeah, it's a right-hander into a left-hander. So
So he's saying, should you be
Should you be
right side
closer
of
to
the
the curbing
track?
on the right side right now?
No, not necessarily. No, that's kind of like too far over. It's too far over. You turn into it about here. So you see where this kind of turns and it kind of goes off
So
straight.
you wouldn't late apex this then, because if me looking at this, I'd have stayed on this curbing on the right edge and then started turning in a little later than you did.
No, you turn into it a little bit early actually, and I'll show you why.
Okay.
Because the line that I take is about here. I come down here and then I'm doing my braking, because you can kind of come into here fast, and then once I apex the first bit of it, my first apex, I'm on the brakes hard, and I kind of use this a little bit of runoff here, and then turn it back in, and then try to get on the
Interesting.
throttle
So
early
what's
for
the
this.
benefit of that rather than staying tracked out to the right to straighten the corner?
I think you can get a faster. Well, it does straighten the corner, does it not?
Well, I mean, you kink back out to the right so that you can then come back left. But if you stay right, it might straighten it to the point you don't have to brake quite as much.
I don't think I don't think it exactly straightens it. I think you get a little bit off. I think it's a little bit offline.
Something to play with, I guess.
Yeah. You can mess
That's
with how
definitely
far.
not the line I would initially
I think
read.
that you.
That's
I
why
think
was
that you
questioning.
meet Botnik. I think the problem is that you meet the apex curbing too early, and you need to meet it later and treat it as like a double apex. Does that make sense?
All right, like I said,
I
something to play
I believe
with
that
later.
it apexes the first one too early. Would be the answer to your question.
If
But you
go
can
into the
mess
far-
around with
if
it.
you go into far chase camera, Aaron, and he backs up some, you can see how that corner is set up.
Maybe if I
from
reset,
the
I can
iRacing.
go to a different. I can go to a better spot.
Ooh, whoa.
I reset. Sorry. Oh no, I'm not. I was ahead. I think. Yeah, it looks like I'm ahead. Right?
Is it?
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No, I think this is going into it now, isn't it?
No, this is going into Bergwerk.
Oh. Oh well, never mind. Whoa.
It's actually just behind me. Shit.
Don't worry about
I shouldn't have reset.
it. Don't worry about it.
I'm trying to think where the fuck I am here. If I can just look up the track this way a
It's
little
gonna
bit.
like reset you or something if you go up.
It'll do the same thing. It'll reset me back to the pits.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't be too far from where I was. But this looks like coming into Bergwerk, which is a 5th gear left-hander, and then you're looking down this hill here, and this is one of the most crucial corners on the track. One of the big ones that you really, really want to nail because there's kind of a straight before it and a straight afterwards. And this is actually where Nicky Lauda had his big accident. You stay to the left here, and you kind of, there's this bricks that you can kind of use as a reference. And I actually, some people turn in really early to this. I wait a little bit. And this is 3rd gear, by the way. I was saying how this corner is similar to Callanhard. 3rd gear, and you wait. I kind of wait a little bit to turn into this. And then I'm... Oh, no. I'm sorry. This is miss, hit, miss. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad. You're siphon. Okay, so we can actually look at this. By the way, those corners can look similar.
So yeah,
better
this
with it
is
now.
more what I was thinking. Well, you still turned in way early, but that's kind of more what I was thinking.
Aaron, if you go into the chase or far chase camera, you can get a sense of that curve looks like.
Okay, hang on a sec, Hayden. Let me, whoa. Wrong direction. Oh, yeah. Whoa, stay here. Because I can look around a lot and actually see...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do that with VR or
yeah.
any
So
of the
just
cameras
hang
and
here
stuff.
a sec because this
Okay.
is interesting. Oh, whoa, you change. That's where we're pointing now.
Yeah,
I'm
put it in the gear.
streaming in there, and then roll forward some. Keep going. And about there.
So you're saying I'm turning in early than you would?
So you were like mid-track before, but you're more or less where I was thinking, because if you start to turn in, right at the end of the curbing on the right there, not quite using that sort of apex at the above the heart.
Yeah. Above the heart.
That could work. So there's a heart right next to you, and then
Okay.
there's sort of like a hard corner.
Oh, okay, I see.
Just
Oh, yeah,
ahead
I
of
see the
that.
heart. It says D plus.
So
D.
if you sort of dive towards that from where the curbing ends on the right, maybe stay tracked out a car width.
Yeah, that's
and then
not
use
terrible.
that
That's not
second
bad.
apex.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I think that we're thinking that the apex is about at the same point, but maybe you're thinking of staying a little bit closer to it as you
So the
approach
one
it.
nearest to us is actually like a fake apex. I think you want to be a good car width out from that one.
What,
But the
down
next,
here?
yeah, so right about where you're at, straight through there, but I would turn in just a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
And then there's sort of a second apex.
I've been using this as a double apex. I mean, you're welcome to
So
experiment.
you are hitting this
however
one.
you want, but I really am hitting like this spot and kind of pointed in this general direction here towards, because I aim to use about half of the track to turn.
So
to
I
turn back
think
to the
what
left.
you're doing different than what I would do through here is the point from right where you're at now until you make the second turn for the second apex. You're using that as a braking zone, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
That's the
braking pretty
difference. I
late.
think I'd do most of the braking before I made that first turn in.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
see
then try
what
to
you mean.
ride it around.
Okay. I think you can carry more speed if you track it out a little bit, but feel free to experiment with that for sure.
Yeah, no, this is an interesting corner complex, especially looking at it from the view I'm at right now.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really bizarre.
I might be wrong,
probably...
but I think that you can carry a little bit more speed that way. And I
Yep,
don't
no, I
know
hear
what I would have to look and tell you what my minimum speeds are through here, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I'm like 50 feet above your car right now and able to see through the whole corner. It's kind of...
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Where's cockpit? There we go. Oh, that was disorienting once you started moving again.
Right. Okay.
All right, I'm back.
So as early on the throttle as you can be out of here.
Yep.
In second gear, hug this little apex here, track it out to the left side. Now we're coming up towards Bergwerk. This is where I thought I was before. It's a little bit of like
these do look really similar.
They do. So stay to the right here, and then this is should still just be fifth gear. Or wait a second.
This is technically
I'm
faster,
sorry.
you think, than the previous corner?
Sorry about that. I got that wrong.
Oh, what happened?
Sorry, I reset. I'm going back to it. I got that wrong. In a different spot. Oh no, I think that is right. Should be bird work. So I'll try to do this at speed here. Oops, full sideways. I'm heavily trail braking all the way through there too.
Oh wow.
Okay, so track out to
that's the way I take that corner. I'm taking that corner that way for years.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
the way you just did that now was a little closer, I think, to what I was thinking. It's just
Okay.
doing it that slow was weird.
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. This is the one that I was wondering. I wasn't sure what it was
When
called.
you're actually doing it in live on the track, it's so cool.
Oh yeah, I bet. So this is the one I was wondering what it was called. But this is interesting.
So why do they have speed limit signs on the track here?
I'm not sure.
Because it's a public road.
Well,
no, yeah, that's
it's not
true.
a speed
Because
limit.
like it said 70 back there. K.
Oh, maybe it's like a recommended speed or something. So this corner is really interesting because it's deceptive. It's kind of weird, and it's just
those
the runoff
fences
is
mean you
weird
can't
and
see
everything.
through it.
Right, yeah, and it's totally blind. So I'm taking this in third, and it's actually a really early apex. So I'm in third here. I turn in probably about here or so, and
Wow.
I aim to apex it in this area.
Yep.
So you end
going
up
through
you end up kind of you apex it here, and then you end up going wide a little bit early, but it gives you the best opportunity to use this runoff here. So you can kind of use the red and white curbing here, but I wouldn't it slows you down once you get up onto the gray stuff. But this bit
Gotcha.
is a little bit, it's not as steep as a lot of the other curbings. But you should be, third gear through that left-hander. Very early apex, very early turn-in. And then you stay and then this car, you stay third through here, and then you're not downshifting for this next right-hander. But this right-hander is very crucial because it leads onto a small straight before Bergwerk, and then Bergwerk leads all the way up the hill towards the carousel. So very important to get this little complex right. And so it's about mid apex, this corner, mid to late.
X-mole.
Yeah, get close. What is that one again?
The sign was just back there. It looked like X-mole or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. X-Mula. X-M-U-H-L-E, right?
Oh, yeah, there was an umlaut there.
Yeah, that's right. So, very important to get a fast exit out of this one, but just be careful because this is some steep, deadly curbing here, and this is a common spot that guys will push too hard through here and then understeer off the exit, and then they hit this curbing too hard and then the wall. So just be aware of that. But anyway, track that out on the left side of the track. Fade over to the right here as it goes down this hill here. And now we're coming up towards Bergwerk. But we have our left-hander here. You kind of lift for this. You can kind of lift in fifth gear here. Oh yeah, and there's the sign. Bergwerk. All right. So this is where Nicky Lauda had his big crash. Very crucial corner because, like I said, it leads on to I guess the second longest straight on the track would be this one. So weird corner. It's a little bit similar to Callanhard, that it's this downhill kind of banked right-hander, and it's very late apex and third gear for this one. I'm in third gear here, and I'm turning in pretty late. Your reference is this bit of bricks on the left side, and then you turn in the common turn-in point is the end of these bricks here. So end of the bricks, turn into the right, and look for where the
These
camber.
series of skid marks are where I went into the fence and broke my legs, neck, and head 3 times.
That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you
That's why I haven't posted a time, because I keep running in that fucking wall.
Yeah, so this corner is deceptive, but it's also important to carry a lot of speed and get a really good exit out of it. It's a very, very crucial corner.
I've spent 10 grand 3 times repairing that wall.
Oh, that's terrible. But yeah, third gear, and then when you're turning in, look for that for where the camber kind of falls towards the apex curbing.
Totally not talking about the track, but I'm looking up at one of these trees, and they're not rendered as full bush trees. They're just like if you took 2 pieces of cardboard and stuck them together at 90-degree angles.
Yeah, there's a lot of graphic stuff that's like pretty basic, just because it doesn't have to be like super duper nice and just.
Oh yeah, because at speed you'll never notice, but it's just funny. It's just sitting here looking.
Yeah. So take that third. So try to use all the camber of all the banking to your advantage, and exit at about this point here, and then you should be carrying a lot of speed. Then the car will want to track out to the left, so just stay on the left. And this is called the Nurburgring Castle is kind of off to the left of this straight. So I don't know what this straight is properly called. I call it the Castle Straight because this is between Bergwerk and the Carousel. And this is all flat out through here. Make sure when you're going up this hill here, make sure that you're in fourth. But
oh yeah, because I was in 5th on the last lap and I started losing speed, so I downshifted.
You lose, okay, but don't do that. If you get all the way, what I was gonna say was make sure that you're using all of the rev range, and if you're looking at your lights, it gives you the light a couple hundred RPM before the actual red line. Make sure you're using all of the red line because it's uphill and this car is low power, so you need every little bit that you can get.
Right. No, that's what we were saying is if you're in 5th up through here, the speed started decreasing.
And actually, in my gearing, I don't think there might not even be any gearing adjustment, but the top of 4th with the setup, the Johnny Gindy setup, is about 110 miles an hour. So if you see
sounds about right.
Yeah, so if you see 110, you can upshift, but make sure that you're really, really using all of it. And if you shift up to 5th, don't go back to 4th because it's actually fat. You're actually losing more time with that downshift, even though you're in a better rev range. So if you're in 5th, just stick with it because you can stick with it all the way up to the carousel. So anyway, just use the natural racing line here. You'll wanna be on the right side of the track at this point. Concentrate on just not turning the wheel too much, and then use that apex curbing and come to the right here, and then this will be just a lift in 5th. So lift for this left-hander. Don't downshift, don't brake, just lift. The car will want to track out to the right. Bring it back to the left. Trying to remember this one. You should be able to do this just flat, but if you see the car understeering a little bit, you can lift a little. You can do like a half lift if you have to. I think that if you're on the right line though, this can be just flat. So coming up to the right-hander before the carousel. I don't know what it's called. Oh, here it is. Steel Strack. Okay, this is an interesting corner. It can actually gain. You can actually gain and lose a lot of time here. So as you're coming up to this crest and you see this area and this curbing and this right-hander, brake on the left side of the track, go down to second, and then this is like a very kind of a late apex, but you follow this apex curbing for a little bit. So you come in, and I would say apex meet it about here, and then stay with it, and then at this point when it falls away, track out to the left, and then up towards the carousel. If you get a good exit, you should be in third, and then go down to second, and you it kind of reveals itself as you're coming over this crest here, and you want to drop into it in second gear I kind of like about this point here. Oh wow, there's something about Bert. Oh wait, Birdie, Mattis, Rue. I was hoping it said Bert is fat. That's too bad.
Rummel stuffed.
German. Anyway, drop in at about this point in second into the carousel and just brake. Make sure that make sure the car's stabilized. And I don't know.
Do you want to stay on this concrete in the middle, or you actually do want to come down?
It's interesting. I found that the car was a little bit more stable when you have the left wheels on this darker.
So I noticed the same. I just wasn't sure if that was right.
Yeah, no, that's how it That's how it was feeling to me in those last few laps that I did.
And what's weird is the version that they have at the Summit is totally different. You want to be on the concrete the whole time there.
Right. Yeah. The car seems it's really stable at this point, and it's a lot better once you raise the ride height. This is like one of the crucial points that you need the ride height raised for. But you just kind of play with the throttle in here with the if it starts to push wide, you just put the angle in and steer the car with the throttle. So you just from the time that you drop in and then you initially stabilize the car, try to hold it at just one angle and then just play with the throttle to get it right. If it's turning in a little bit too much, then if it's turning too much, you can kind of use a little bit more throttle. If it's starting to understeer, let off of it a little bit. And I end up kind of feathering it a little bit just to get it like right on the limit through here anyway. And I would have to look at my replays, but I think my minimum speeds were like high 50s miles an hour, 57, 58 miles an hour, 59, something like that. So just try to maintain momentum through here, and eventually you feel like right where the limit is and you kind of get it. But yeah, second gear all the way through here. Like I said, I try to keep the left wheels on the concrete there a little bit. And then you looking at get out at about here. Shoot for like the east, where the concrete is lighter. I kind of shoot for like that corner of it there, the top right hand corner of it.
Yeah, don't do that too early though, or else it'll launch you into that curb.
Yeah, big time. That's why I was trying to show. I was trying to show the line out of it, because if you exit it too early, it's too much of a ramp and it can launch the car. Or if you get on the throttle too early, it can too, because that sends you wide as well, obviously.
Yep. No, I did that on one of my laps earlier.
So kind of shoot it out towards the top right of that lighter concrete and aim for this apex curb over here. Car will want to track out to the left. Bring it right here, so you're in for this next left-hander, you're just flat. And then stay to the right side of the track here. Next left-hander should be in fourth. So lift.
So do you brake for this then? Because I kept tracking into the inside curbing there.
I'm just lifting for that.
Okay.
You got to make sure that you stay on a precise line, but there's a lot of camber through this section, so you can carry more speed than it kind of looks
I see
like.
that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kept like understeering into the grass side curbing there.
Yep. And there's a lot in this section of the track particularly, there's a lot of places to do that if you're not just right, you can just understeer onto the grass and that's it. But
You still with us, John? You've been quiet.
Yep, I'm here.
cool.
Okay.
I've seen him. He's still in the pits there. But yeah, so lift down to fourth gear there, and then just try to use the camber of the track and the apex curbing here, and then lift again and down to third for this, and then Carl want to track out to the left, and then stay in third here. Use the brake to get it turned in. And then over here, kind of stay to the left side. Carl want to track out to the right, kind of pull it back to the left side of the track. And then you're in fourth by now. I'm trying to think. You might have to, I think you have to lift for that right-hander. So lift in fourth gear for that. Keep the car in fourth here. Very important. It'll want to understeer a bit, but keep it in fourth. Don't use this bit of, I don't really find it that advantageous to use that bit of curbing. Maybe in like a GT3 car, but it's just not, I don't know. I just don't think I don't find it too beneficial in this, but keep the car in fourth through here, manage it with the brake. And then I actually do find it beneficial to use this apex curbing here when you pull it back into the right. So use the bricks on the apex, but not the entry. So you'll still be in fourth gear here.
Great Whipperman.
Down to third. This is Whipperman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. I forget what the real name of the YouTube corner is then, because Whipperman and the YouTube corner are kind of similar. I don't know.
I think it's 2 more corners.
We'll find it. Yeah, it's very close to here. So this one is interesting because as you can see, it's totally blind going through here. Downshift.
You've got a left coming up, right?
Yeah. So downshift going to third. Downshift to third for this right-hander here, Whipperman, and the car's going to want to understeer off to the left, and there's very, very little runoff over here. So just be careful, because this is a really big spot to crash. Just make sure you're managing the understeer, and just use the brakes at the most. Just make sure it doesn't go into the grass, because you got to pull the car back to the right. S-Bach. Oh, S-Bach. Yeah. And then
This is where everybody crashes.
I'm going, yep, it's downhill and not that cambered.
When it's raining, man, the race cars.
Oh yeah.
Through here.
Yeah, this is a big heavy braking zone for sure. I think I'm in third here. You can do fourth in some cars, but I think I'm pretty sure I'm just doing this one in third. And then hugging this left line here because you got a right-hander. You got this right-hander here.
Wow, Aaron, you're on YouTube now.
You can use like this part a little bit, but again, I don't think it's same as the other one. I don't think it's all that beneficial. And then it's either third or fourth gear. You can be in fourth gear for this part. It's not too understeery, and actually you want to be, if you're in fourth, I think you want to be in fourth for this little downhill, because you accelerate out of there. You're like at the top of third, and then you hit fourth. So fourth gear here, brake and pull it in here, and then you want this curbing on this exit here is flat, so you want to use it. This is like one of the few spots on the track where there's flat curbing. Now, if you go on to the little grass curb, this little grass grate area, that's an off track. But if you go too off onto here, if you're just like right here where I am now, that's fine. So up here into fourth, and this is the YouTube corner. So third gear for this. It's kind of a mid-ish apex. And carry as much speed as you can through here, because you got a nice little insurance policy on the exit. You want to use this gray, you want to use the gray bricks here, but you can also put it up on here if you have to. It's kind of a, you don't really want to be there. It slows you down a little bit, but if you come into there just a little bit too hot or you get on the throttle just a little bit too early, that part there is usable. So up here should be just third gear. This is kind of a blind thing as well. So you stay to the left side of the track, bring it right, yeah, about here as you see it turning. Bring it back to the left side of the track a little bit, back to the right just to open up this corner. And then coming up to, should be Flonsgarden. Yep. So just straighten out the S's here, and then you're going to be in, I think it's fifth gear coming into Flonsgarden, and then this jump, the car is going to jump here in Flonsgarden if you're carrying enough speed, just slightly. It doesn't jump. The GT3 cars, they really, really jump right here. Like you can feel it has like half a second of hang time, but this car, it just kind of lifts a little bit, and you should be in fifth coming into there, and then you shift down to fourth just to make sure you can make this next turn, which is really fast, and it's easy to take this a little bit too fast and understeer, because what happens is you end up tracking it out to the inside of the next turn, which is a left-hander, and if you go a little bit too fast here, this curbing is steep enough that it's going to shoot you, and there's a big grass runoff area, but usually you have big problems. So just carry as much speed as you can through there. Should be just flat in this car. Some of the faster cars you do have to lift. So is Flonsgarden 2? I think so. Coming up into the Stefan Beloff S's. So for the entry to these, you kind of keep the car a little bit further right than you think, and then because the track juts out pretty far to the left. So come back to the left again here, and then these are you want to carry a lot of speed through here. These are big open wide corners. Down to fourth here. Kind of conventional apex there. Keep the car to the right, down to third. And then you have a bunch. Actually, I'm going to back up. I want to know what this turn's called. I just saw the sign. I saw the sign. What is it called? Schwalbenschwanz. Schwalbenschwanz. Okay. So third gear, and then the track really, really opens up. So just try to carry as much speed as you can and use the exit of this, but do not carry so much speed that you end up going up onto this thing, because it really, really destabilizes the car when you need it to be nice and planted, and it can really screw up the mini carousel that's coming up. And the mini carousel you definitely want to hit nicely. So we're on the right side of the track, mini carousel, second gear, same as the regular carousel, probably enter about here. You can carry more speed through this carousel, but you can really screw yourself up getting on the throttle too early. If you get through the throttle too early, this is too steep. You can see how steep this little drainage part is. And if you go too early, it shoots. You don't get the grip back before you end up hitting that wall. Like Misha from Apex, like he crashed their GT86 at this corner because he got on the throttle too early and tried exiting it. So be patient. Try to carry the speed, but be patient and don't exit it too early. Exit it about here where it flattens out. Before, you can see where it flattens out and gets a little bit more friendly. There's actually a little nice reference point here. There's like a little 90-degree bend. I kind of aim for that. So keep the car to the left. This is the last major corner here before the long straight. Keep the car to the left, and you'll be in fourth gear by this point. And with the car in fourth, lift. Oh, this does have a name. Galgenhof? Wait, what is it called? Galgenkoff. Yeah, okay. So, fourth gear and lift for this corner, and is just a big carousel that's like really crucial because obviously it comes on to the longest straight. And you know, if you're in a race and you're trailing somebody, you want to make sure this is the point where it's really critical to be close, because if you get within half a second, 0.6, something like that, there's a good chance that you'll be able to draft them going down the straight. So fourth gear, lift, apex it here, and then the car's gonna want to go wide. Keep it wide, and you should be flat after that, and it's just a brief lift, just lift back to flat, and then the car is gonna want to really, by this point, it's really gonna be understeering. So lift again. You got to lift again and aim for this curbing on the right, because this is your final apex curbing. So it's a lift, flat for a few more seconds, and then lift again, because you kind of treat it as a double apex. And then with everything that you have, try to get on the throttle early here. And if you do it right, the car is really going to want to be understeering towards here. You can kind of use this little bit to the left of the white line to pull it back. And then just be on the throttle, and then just, yeah, all about getting on the throttle early here, obviously. So we're almost done. Hopefully this didn't take too long. Oh yeah, a little bit, I guess. Over 10 minutes left. As I go up this hill here, I cheat towards the right side of the track. Now there's 3 different lines here. There's the line 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And I end up on the right, what I've heard Misha from Apex say is the right side of the middle of the track. So I basically just put it in this lane here. And as I come to the crest of this hill by the parking lot, this is like the main parking lot and the main tourist entrance. I'm in this lane here, second from the right. And then as this kind of goes downhill, and then that apex curbing reveals itself, turn in, let the car go wide, just slowly get it to the right side of the track, and then this is all, and then stay flat. You might, you can still stay flat through here. In fifth, lift for this corner to the left, lift in fifth, don't brake, and then try to get close to this bit of orange Armco. Stay to the left side, and then do your braking in this area down to second. You can use this curbing up here, and then try to get on the throttle early. Car's gonna want to.
By the way, that's the pit in.
This is the pit in, yeah.
I missed it the first time I was looking for it.
That's it right there. So, car's gonna want to go wide. Keep it close to the apex curbing, and then pull it back to the left, and this is the final corner. And second gear, turn it in. Try to get real close to this, but it's a big risk, so maybe don't get as close as humanly possible, because it's just right at the end, and you can screw your race if it's the final lap. And then use as much of this as you can, and that's a lap. That's about all I got.
Yeah. About enough time to get 1 lap in. Not quite.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Not a problem, man. I got that recording, but